Right, and welcome back. This is the first conversation of the day, but we've asked you a question on social. We are asking you, how do you feel about the tax proposals that the government is actually just about to, put in place? And of course, the 2.75% that just, was recently implemented on the share deductions. But in this conversation, we are delving into matters property, real estate, and amongst the week of the 2024 real estate market is valued at absolutely 773 billion Kenyan shillings. I believe the number could be fluctuating depending on different real estate agencies and how they're reporting. The business is booming in Kenya and it continues to grow with factors like demand for land and property, the government investment now with the affordable housing program, and our technology that's just now, coming into place. There's a love for Airbnbs, and now also the aesthetics and everything that come into play. What are the opportunities that are in there for you, especially as a young person? And today we are speaking to Carlos Okelo. He is a group CEO, Y254 Consulting Group LLC. Karibu sana, Mr.
Thank you very
Okelo.
much for having me.
Yes, so tell us a little bit of your journey and how you ventured into the real estate and developing space.
Gladly. Once again, thank you very much for having me on your studio. And we started off our business 6 years ago.
Okay.
Our company, Y254 Consulting. Basically, we started off as design and build contractors doing development for small-scale homeowners before we decided to scale up our business to become full real estate developers. Obviously, we started in Nairobi, where we identified Race Course Nairobi and invested there. And right now, we've diversified our portfolio. Right now, we are in Kisumu as well, and we are currently in the process of opening up 2 more offices in Kampala and Kigali in Rwanda. Reason being is that as a business, especially if you're doing business in Africa, it's very, very important to diversify your portfolio. You have to be multi-geographical, you have to be multi-asset based, so you're not just inclined to residential only, but we also do the commercial development as well. Yeah. So that rapid growth and scale, we've had it because of the networks that we have had in terms of financing, and also some of the networks that we've also had in terms of having a good clientele who are able to give us the fees that we require for the properties that we have in the market. If
you were to give an outlook of how that space looks like in terms, maybe we can talk about now developing, because developing, you're literally beginning from scratch. Yes. Real estate sometimes is already finished, but then it can combine into both. Sure. If you were to give an outlook of how it looks right now in the developing sector, what are some of the strides and also maybe, and how technology as well has given it a facelift in terms of growth?
Well, there's a significant change, or rather, or growth that has taken place over the last 10 years. We've seen this in the past. There was no much of a gated community concept. A gated community, or what we call a mixed-use development, where you've got residential, commercial properties all included in one space. So it's a place where we offer what is called live, work, and play. Right. Such was not there 10 years ago, but today those are some of the trends that we see. More importantly is the purchasing power. We've seen the purchasing power increase. Kenya is having a rise, or a rapid rise for that matter, in the middle class. Middle class is increasing, which has got the purchasing power to purchase those kind of properties that we have. Right. So that is very, very important in our business because we normally say that a project is only successful if it sells. So if you develop a high-rise development and you've got no purchasers to afford them, you're in trouble. So it's very, very important to, as a developer, when you're getting into a project, the first question you should ask, who is my target market? Who is going to purchase this property that I'm developing? Yeah. So as long as there's a demand for whatever that you want to put in the market, then there's no reason to.
But that's on your back end as a developer who's looking for a market. What about for the client? What are they looking for?
The clients, obviously, the very first thing they're asking for is, what can I afford? That's the first question.
And then mortgaging comes into play.
And we normally ask yourself, what do you mean affordable?
Right.
because $10 million can be affordable to you, but may not be affordable to me. $100,000 may be expensive to you, but not expensive to
So
me.
what do you offer? What is the package?
So our properties normally range, our target, we have got what we call target groups. Mostly right now we intend to sell more to the corporates. These are private companies that want to diversify their portfolio. So they're investing in property to provide alternative assets for investment purposes. So these are large, some of them are law firms, some of them are insurance brokerage companies that are buying properties for investment purposes. So can buy a portfolio, maybe 20 or 30 units of 2 or 3 bedroom apartments. And then after that, they put them up in the market to generate rental income.
Right.
And they've seen significant returns on those spaces.
Now for a client, how do you journey with them? Maybe with a client who wants an already, let's say, developed product or a property, and then that who wants maybe from land. They want to just land, and then from there they can maybe switch to another, agent that can help them walk through that journey.
The advantage is that we've got a construction background. Our firm comprises of all the professionals in the built environment profession. We've got architects, we've got engineers, we've got quantity surveyors. So that makes it easier for us to take up a project from scratch and be able to design it, and after the design, be able to obtain the necessary regulatory approvals and get into the construction aspect of it. And that is an advantage, and that is how we help our clientele. So maybe someone has got just empty land, does not know where to start from.
Yeah.
So when you come into a company, then there is you're working with a full shop, that is able to grant you the services from scratch up to the construction, the development, and be able to hand over the key to you.
Yeah.
So that's an advantage. Another thing, they have got a big chunk of people who are multinational. These are people who are not Kenyans. You're from Uganda, you're from Nigeria, you are from the US, and you just want to invest in property, So those are also the kind of clientele that we do target, and we help them because fortunately the Kenyan law allows the foreigners to own and invest in property back here in Kenya. So that is equally an advantage to us.
Yeah, I want us to switch to now maybe facilitation of the payment process.
Yes.
And then also how the client, how does it work on the side of the client, and then also in terms of now the banking sector as well. But then start with for the client side and then on your side in terms of the payment.
We've got two segments. One is the mortgage finance. Unfortunately, the mortgage penetration, if you compare our country with the West and world, is quite a bit low.
Okay.
It may alarm you that we've got less than 30,000 mortgages in the entire country with a population of over 50 million. That's ridiculous.
That's
if you
alarming.
ask me.
Okay.
So and the reason why people are finding it difficult to get into mortgage market is because the interest rates are quite high.
Yeah.
So we offer an alternative that we call rent to own. So rent to own works this way. For example, that you got a property which is being retailed at maybe 10 or 20 million shillings.
Right.
Then the payment plan is spread over a given period of time. This can be range between 7 to 10 years.
And this is dependent on the bank, or
No.
you
That's
as
a
the
developer and
facilitator,
purchase
developer.
arrangement,
Okay.
yes.
All right.
So it means instead, if you cannot afford to accumulate savings of up to 20 million at a go, we can spread this 20 million into maybe a 7-year lifespan. So you can maybe do a 20% deposit, and then the remaining balance is spread on monthly installment of maybe 200 to 250,000.
And when you say 20% deposit,
Yes.
Does it depend on the structure, the size, the location?
Obviously, it depends on the that's
structure.
number one, the location of the project, the size, and also the purpose. And we've realized that most people who are taking up this option are people who are doing for investment purposes, surprisingly, because someone is saying, okay, let me buy this property, and when this payment plan is channeled into the 10 or 20 years, it means that I will own this property and also putting it up in the rental market. So the rent that I'm gaining, I use it to partially pay for the house. So what that means is that you are already growing your equity stake into the house. The house is paying for itself, at the same time you've started generating returns from it. So that's equally an advantage to any property investor.
Right. Are there high value, let's say high value properties that are already existing, and for example, if a client was to approach you and they're offering you what they're able to, but you use the word affordable. For them, they're looking for affordable, but then there's what you offer. So how do you chat with them through that process?
So the advantage that we've heard about our clientele, which are mostly our investors. Remember, we've got two different types of clientele. There are people who are buying for investment purposes, and then there are people who are homeowners. Somebody's just buying for a home.
And they're increasing, in fact. Homeowners are multiplying in
Kenya. So because and for investment purposes is because we got Kenya has a very solid and a very big market when it comes to rental, other than the buying market. So someone would say the people who have got their disposable income, are able to purchase these properties and put them up in the rental space, and in the process they are generating the returns, from the rentals that they're gaining. You just mentioned about the Airbnb and stuff like that, which, as we call the serviced apartments, So those are the kind of returns that are now attractive to the investors right now. And then we are now, if you go to the other category, that is the homeowners. You're just buying a property because you just need a roof over your head. You don't want to go into the hustle and bustle of buying land and probably getting the consultants and be able to build it by yourself and all that. You just want a ready house. We've got a different package for that kind of clientele as well. These are the people that equally, the rent to own equally works for them, because say, I want to buy a 3-bedroom apartment, but I can't afford the entire 15 million shillings that you are offering it. How to go? I'm probably just a middle class employed person, a normal employed person, so my savings cannot afford. At the same time, I don't want to go the mortgage route because I'm scared of the high interest rates. So such kind of clientele, we spread the clientele, the payment plan, which is flexible to the pockets of the client.
Before we move to the evaluation process, in Kenya, from your observation in the space, are there places that you'd say strategically that are selling like hotcake in the industry?
Obviously, our real estate, first, we normally say it's all about location.
Which is the most prominent that's selling fast?
Definitely, we've seen there are places that we call them emerging markets. These are satellite towns, like in a place like Racecourse, for example. That is a satellite town. But there's an income, there's a higher interest there, or people want to go in and because they look at proximity to the CBD, proximity to the local schools, proximity to the amenities like the shopping malls, the hospitals, and all and stuff like that. So when as an investor, when you want to get into property development in that kind of space, you look at the clientele, that are going, that have got an interest in that particular space, and the reason is because they want the lifestyle that is associated with that area. The town,
and means that they can be able to afford it.
Yes, and not only afford it, but like it also.
Like it,
you may afford it, but you don't like the location. But here comes a case where they can afford it, but they also like the location because they know this is a place where if I stay here, I can access the CBD in town.
Or I can
Mombasa, go to the shopping mall. I can go to I can reach the airport in time. There's no traffic and stuff like that.
I want you to talk about the Diani. The Diani area. I've seen a lot of advertisements even on digital platforms. How is valuation done for properties strategically located in such demographic locations?
While talking about Diani, it's important to look at it in the entire spectrum of the coast as an area. So when we're talking about Diani, we talk of first and foremost is Mombasa, and what is attracting or what is driving people to Mombasa. Number one, it's a coastal town that has a very big tourism market right now, and that is an advantage, a huge advantage, because it attracts a lot of foreign exchange as well in US dollar and euro-denominated currencies. So when developers are getting into places like Diani, is because of the proximity to that attraction of that particular market,
the coastal
in
culture.
the tourism sector,
Okay.
the coastal culture that you've just talked about. So that is a great advantage, and it therefore means that the valuation in terms of a cost of land in that area obviously is rising up rapidly, you know. So we've also seen a situation where hotel developers, people in the hospitality sector, are developing hotels along those lines, you know, be able to take advantage into that multi-billion dollar market. Yes.
You just mentioned that it's approximately 30,000, you know, properties. Mortgages rather, pardon me, that are already existing on the market.
Yes.
So from your observation, do you believe Kenyans are shying away from, you know, getting into the space?
Yes.
And then you also mentioned the issue of high interest rates. Maybe what are the factors that have, let's say, stimulated, you know, high interest rates? Is it on the client side? Is it on you as the people facilitating, or it's on the government side? Maybe you can deep dive into that.
The interest rates, first and foremost, is a bit, it depends on so many things. You know, it depends first and foremost in the global inflation. Remember, the financial system is not just inclined to Kenya only, but is a web, it's a global web for that matter. So what that means is that when we are talking about the interest rate, it's not just in Kenya only, but probably it's the same situation globally in the US, it's the same situation in the UK and all that. But I may not blame it on interest rate only, but I may blame it, one is on the information. When you talk of mortgage,
right,
it's only people who are
it's
employed,
deemed to be of a certain demographic,
and people who are what you call the working class, are the people who are being targeted, because the bank, when you go to the bank to apply for the mortgage, the first question they will ask you, show me your pay slip. But does the so-called mama mbogas have got these pay slips? You know, so that means that they've already been left out of the mortgage system. And remember, that is the bigger population lies there. You know, so it means a lot of people are being left out. People who are not in the formal employment are being left out when it comes to the mortgage
getting into the space.
Exactly.
But then I'm also wondering, how can young people tap into this, into the mortgage space, the real estate property at large, because it's deemed to be, like what you said, people who are on a certain, you know, paycheck. Yeah. So for them, should they venture into the space as professionals working with an agency to, you know, maybe get an opportunity, or they can also save and be able to, you know, acquire property?
I must say that as developers, we've still got a lot of work to do, especially to enable the young people to also have an opportunity to invest in the real estate space. And this is something that we've done in race course, where we've channeled out, we've got properties that are selling as low as 2.3 billion. Kenya shillings.
2.3.
Yes, you carry.
Guess the location of that could be, if you were to approximate.
That is just here in Racecourse, Nairobi.
Ngong.
Exactly.
Okay.
You know, so and the reason we are very, very intentional about it, and the reason is to ensure that the young people, you know, the young professionals, people who just started working, people, the so-called mama mbogas, the so-called boda riders, are able to access these opportunities and also to invest into real estate. So that is the kind of, those are some of the incentives that we've come up with to ensure that we bring everyone on board.
Yeah, and now the affordable housing program by government has come into play. I want you to talk about maybe how it has escalated the operations in that space. Has it given it a facelift, or it's still shaky and murky?
I wouldn't advocate for it much, because I don't see it serving its purpose.
Why?
The original plan of this affordable housing thing was to eradicate the slums, but we see the slums are still existing.
Right.
We see the people that the real target market for this affordable housing, what as developers we call social housing, are actually being left out. Because when you talk of affordable, like I said earlier, what is affordable to you may not be affordable to me. I've seen the adverts of 5 million shillings, but tell me how many mama mbogas have got that kind of money?
Yeah.
So how is it affordable if the mama mboga is being left out? How is it
Because they're the
affordable
target
when the
anyways.
exactly? How is it affordable when the border rider on the street can't afford it? So we've noticed that the people who can actually afford it are middle class, who end up buying them in large numbers and end up renting them out, ironically, to the so-called mama mbogas and the border riders. So what the government should have done is actually to get into as many PPPs, public-private partnerships, as possible with the developers, private developers for that matter, so that we have everyone inculcated, because as private developers, we know the numbers, we have the research, we know the market, you know. So therefore, when these people are, when these properties are being churned out into the market, we are able to assist the government and tell them, this one should be directed to this kind of people, and these are the kind of payment plans that they should be given. This is how their income statements looks like. Exactly.
So how do you make this affordable housing work now that you've just refuted it? If you were to be in a panel that was proposing alternatives to make it work, what would you say?
The first and foremost thing we should be talking about is purchasing power. Yes, because when we talk of 3 million, when we talk of 5 million, I don't care how much you're selling it, but you should be asking yourself, the person that you are targeting, do they have the necessary income that can enable them to buy those houses? So when we've identified and known and analyzed how much these people are making in a month, how much are they making annually, then for that we are able to package a product that best suits them.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay, there's an interesting stat here, and I'd like you to react to it, and you can give your no on it. It says the real estate market in Kenya is expected to reach a value of, I believe it's 733 billion, not US dollars, or it could be either. And they're saying with the residential segment dominating the market. But then there's factors that are weighing down the sector, including unpredictable interest rates on bank loans, a weakening shilling, high inflation, you've talked about it as well, and low penetration of mortgages and soaring cost of construction material. Yeah. So they're giving an estimation of 733 billion. From what you've observed, is it worth that number, or maybe you have a different figure?
Exactly, that is that's the number currently, and it's expected to grow. It is expected to go beyond that. I remember the population is increasing rapidly. And we've seen a situation where Kenya is attracting an influx of foreigners. There are a lot of people who are leaving the Western countries, the European countries, to come and settle here in Africa. So, and Kenya is one of the best African countries. I think it's on the top 10, places to settle in for a foreigner who is coming in.
Yeah.
So what that tells us that the population is going to increase. Right now, Nairobi is slightly above 5 million people in terms of population. That number is expected to increase by another 30 or 40% in the next 7 or 8 years. Where are these people going to live in? They need houses, they need homes, they need roofs over their heads. And that means a very big opportunity for players in this market like ourselves.
All right. Now, for a client who's aiming it to maybe set best in that industry, are there maybe some malfunction or let's say malpractices that they should take precaution of? Because in any sector, there's always something that goes amiss. Just like somebody was telling me the other day, there's always cartels in every industry.
Yes.
So what are the things that they should be ready for in terms of taking precautions before they start that journey?
This I'm going to talk about in two forms. First, on the upcoming developers, people who just want to get into this space, and also people want to get into it as homeowners and Kenyans. I've seen what I can call a lot of shortcuts. And people think, oh, if you hire an incompetent person, then that person is cheap or affordable. but you don't want to run the risk of your building coming down because you hired a not a competent architect or engineer to design your house. You don't want to find yourself in a messy litigation because your lawyer, the lawyer that you are working with, did not advise you on the legalities or did not give you a sound legal opinion when it comes to zoning regulations or as far as land reforms is concerned.
Right.
You don't want to land the trouble of underreporting your finances because you are not working with a qualified accountant or an auditor to give you the right numbers that is on the ground.
Yeah.
So that shortcuts, if I can call it, has actually made a lot of people to burn their fingers, for lack of a better word. I've seen a situation of what I call hyper or over excitement when you want to invest in property. We have, I normally say that there's no property which is cheap. It's either expensive or affordable.
Right.
There's no two way about it. So if you find what we call a deal which is too good, obviously you have to go there with lots of precaution.
Yeah.
So that is why we've had huge amounts of not so good news, of scandals in this sector where people have probably bought land which does not exist.
Yes.
People have invested in properties that do not exist, what people call hot air, you know, and
like
they've
it's non-existent.
Of late, yes.
It's interesting because we've also seen prominent television adverts and radio as well, and now the digital platform. They're announcing for a quarter something, you know, deposit this and that on the pay bill. And maybe the person even who is purchasing that is not in Kenya. They're best abroad. And then it ends up that property was not even there. In fact, there's nothing like that in Kenya.
Yes.
And maybe they even paid up to $500,000, and so their money is just gone like that. So for such that's already being advertised, how do you caution them?
That is why in any business, before you jump in, you always have to do your due diligence properly before getting in. And that takes me back to what I just mentioned of hiring competent professionals.
Do you need an advocate?
It's very important. You get a good conveyance lawyer to be able to look at the contracts.
Advocate or a lawyer, because there's a difference. Who is powerful, especially in land?
All right, but I think the Kenyan bar have a mix of what we call lawyers and advocates are almost the same.
And there's also that are dealing with land and property
but
as
you
well.
have to be more specific. We've got lawyers who have specialized in real estate law. We've got lawyers who have specialized in banking and securities. We've got lawyers who have specialized in land law, you know, in construction law. So when you are looking for a professional to advise you, it is important to interrogate their profiles properly, so you know you are not just dealing with a lawyer, but you're dealing with a lawyer who is competent in that area. Because I've seen situations where people have hired human rights lawyers to represent them in commercial transactions. And you end up, yes, he's a lawyer, but he's not competent enough to handle that what you want. That is the same thing, you know, even in the built environment, we've got electrical engineers, we've got road construction engineers, then we've got the building, or what we call the civil engineers or water engineers and all that. So it's the same thing when you go hire a water engineer to probably design your building for you. Obviously, he's going to make a mistake because that is not his line. Yes, he's an engineer, but he has not specialized in that particular space.
And now there's documentation even on you as the facilitator, and now on the professional. There's somebody here who's asking what are the types of real estate, but then let me ask you about this. There's trends in the Kenyan real estate market that include the digitization of collateral registry and security rights of movable assets, the use of mobile money payment for land. I think that one happens a lot with adverts. They tell you, oh, for a quarter of this, for this property, deposit this on this pay bill. The popularity of PropTech solutions such as Airbnb and the poured virtual reality sites in smart homes, the use of 3D printing, building technology, and just now prime offices remaining strong within the occupancy rates. But you can start off with the types of real estate, and then you can react to some of these trends and how they are escalating the space?
Yeah, we've looked, we've seen what I call the, the houses that are built using alternative building technology. These are people who are moving away from the brick and mortar. We've seen some contractors improvising containers, container homes,
Right.
in order to build the houses. And then we've got people who are using prefabricated materials, what we call precast or prefabs, in the construction sector. And all these are good because they are innovative in nature. But Kenya generally, we were colonized by the British. Therefore, our building codes, we use the British standards. Generally, we are a brick and mortar nation, and it will take a long time to be able to drive away from that space and probably adopt this technology that are upcoming in full scale. So we still have a long way to go. There's absolutely nothing wrong with these technologies as long as they can be adopted and be able to satisfy the demand which is in place.
Do you advocate for mobile money transactions in terms of now payment for land?
Exactly, I do, because the banking is changing, the financial system is changing. Actually, I don't know what the last time I went to a bank. We do our financial transactions online over the internet banking, which you can do from the comfort of your home, from the comfort of your office.
Right.
So what does that one tell you is that just the way the banking is rapidly changing, as real estate developers, we are also expected to be a part of that change. We are expected to accommodate those innovations that are coming. So I advocate for mobile payments. It is rapid. It is very much convenient for anyone who wants to invest in this space. So those are the kind of innovations that we have to adopt if we want to go far in this space.
Now, for an already developed, I'll say, structure, there's this thing with ambience and, lighting aesthetics, because nowadays people are moving into places where they're able to do video conferencing. Others are even doing podcasting. For the ones you deal with, do you offer such for clients?
Exactly, because we got the clientele that don't care about luxury. Well, there are people who luxury is what they are buying.
Is a priority.
It's what they are. There are people who, they are not buying the property. They are buying the luxury which is associated with it. So that is why right now in most of our developments we intend to inculcate or incorporate some amenities. Our estates will have swimming pools.
Right.
We've got amenities like gyms. We've got clubhouses. We've got the greener spaces. We've got children playgrounds, because people want to feel that, if I'm here, then I don't have to get out of the estate for whatever reason. I want to be, if I need to do some physical fitness, there's a gym there for me. If I want to take my child away for swimming, no, there's a swimming pool here already. So those are the kind of things that right now the market is very keen on. Well, there are people who are just saying, no, all I need is 4 walls. That corner is all I need.
Set up my aesthetics and
exactly. I don't care about care about the swimming pool. I don't swim. I don't care about the parking spaces. I don't have a car. So when that market also, we have to cater for them as well.
What is the peak season mostly? Because we're just heading into the holidays as we exit. Before you tell us how people can get to seek your services, peak season inakuanga time gani?
And normally, we've seen a trend where between the months of October, November, December, there's normally lots of purchases being carried out.
So as we speak right now, a lot of transactions are happening.
We are very busy. A lot of transactions are happening.
So you're checking in and checking out. Okay.
Yes, exactly. Because people are probably have accumulated their savings across maybe from January up to December, and they want to invest in the property. So this is the very busy time for developers right now.
All right, now for somebody who's been watching and they want to journey with you, they want to seek your services, maybe they want to purchase a piece of a structure, how can they get you? Do you have a website, an email? Please talk to them in 30 seconds.
Okay, good. Thank you very much, our viewers. Our company is called Okelo Consulting Group. We are based in Kileleshwa, Nairobi. You can access our website at www.agulo-group. salesproperties.com, where you'll find most of our information, or drop us an email at salesproperties@agulo-group.com. Then we'll be able to attend to you from there. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much.
Yes.
That has been Carlos Okelo sharing to us some interesting insights. And by the way, there are so many opportunities in that space. I believe if somebody will reach out, are you able to give them a job or guide them to, secure something for themselves?
Exactly. We employ a lot of young people.
Okay.
From just young graduates who are just from school. We take in engineers, we take in architects, we take in
interns
business.
who want to get the exposure.
Exactly, yeah. And
Nice.
we do train them long
Nice.
term. So
Nice.
and after completing your internship, which is normally like 6 to 8 months or maybe up to a year, then if we see you are good,
Right.
then we
Okay.
can fully absorb you
Okay,
into our system.
fantastic. Thank you. Now you know the drill and how to reach out. Thank you so much, Carlos.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take a very short break. When we come back, the second conversation will be up with Stephanie at Branch Sakwan 1 at Y254 channel. See you on the other side.